Hello lovelies, welcome if you've never been here before. My name is Bryony and I do cruelty-free and vegan makeup reviews and tutorials on this channel normally. Today though we're going to be going over how I planned my wedding day timeline and also the day before, and also some pro tips I've probably got for you as well. So let's just get started the lead up. If you are also doing more of a DIY approach wedding and doing a lot of things yourself, take the week off work the day beforehand if you have any leave. Now, I specifically put in this request before I took on this job. I told them I'm going to need 2 weeks off around the wedding and then that's it. I had a week off before the wedding and a week off after. The week off before the wedding was more grueling than going to work. Just gonna let you know that. And if you can take some leave, save it up so that you know that you've got some leave that you can take before the wedding and at least for a couple of days afterwards, because you're going to be exhausted. So the day before the wedding, we had to travel a long way, so we started our day at about 5 in the morning so that we could actually travel before the traffic got too bad, because I was also with the big cake on my lap. The way that we attacked everything, we actually got to the venue around about just 9-ish in the morning the day before and just started unloading the car carefully. I had contacted the florist to make sure I could get the flowers the day previous. I'd already been in contact as well with the venue owner, so then we would have somewhere cool for the flowers to go, somewhere cool for the cake to go. It's really important because especially if you're having a summer wedding and you've got anything like buttercream involved, just anything at all involving the cake, you're gonna need to make sure that it's kept at a cool temperature. And we got married in the middle of March. It was a very hot day the day that we got married. Pro tip when it comes to packing, make sure that you know where everything is packed. I'd packed all of our vases together, I'd packed everything together in a way that it just meant that I could literally just lift out, take off the covering. I'd made sure to actually polish and clean everything before we took anything down with us as well. So then the day before you're not having to worry about buffing things up and all of that. Anything that you can do to actually save your time will help you no end, seriously. Things will go wrong, like the owner of the venue, like his son drew over one of my signs and ripped some flowers off my other sign, so I had to like redo that. So there's gonna be stuff that goes wrong. You do not know what's gonna go wrong, so anything that you can do to prevent that, you'll be definitely helping yourself out so much. We'd arranged for our bridal party to actually come to the venue at around about lunchtime-ish, just after lunchtime, so then they'd had a chance to actually eat, and then we all put the flowers on the flower arch and that worked out great, and we all just teamed up working on that. And I'd booked in for the bridesmaids and Brandon to go get their nails done whilst I carried on doing work and unpacking. The way to just try and tackle things is allow yourself enough time to make sure that you can get stuff done. I'd booked their nails to get done at 2:15 and we were having our rehearsal at 4 o'clock. So they were still running late for our rehearsal because we got married at 4 o'clock, so I wanted to make sure that we knew what the lighting was going to be like. So allowing yourself a buffer amount of time to get people there is a really, really good idea. And you don't know how long it's going to take to do like the rest of the DIY things that you're doing. If you're doing DIY things, or if you're meeting with the wedding coordinator or the MC or anyone else that you're meeting with on the day. Like we ran through the whole ceremony, it took around about 15 minutes. It took the longest amount of time to actually figure out what point of our aisle song to walk out at, because we don't live in a beautiful mansion. Like there was no way for us to be able to properly gauge going from the ballroom along the veranda and down the steps how long that would actually take and when you want to come in the song. So we spent around about 20 odd minutes actually going through that, playing the song back, trying to find like the best time. So you need to really allow yourself ample amount of time. And because of that, that meant that the day before the wedding, we could just let people go home, like unpack, unwind at their Airbnbs. Then we just got everyone back together for dinner and we all met up at like 6 o'clock. And then I was meant to be painting my nails once we got home, but then I had to obviously redo the sign, so that meant that I was just painting my nails at 4 in the morning in the bathroom. Like I said, you just don't know what's gonna go wrong. Of the actual wedding day, so this is actually the way that I'd just written this down to help us out. So it was around about 7 in the morning that Brandon and I like had breakfast, and between 8 to 10 a.m. we were just like setting up the tables with what we could. So about 9 o'clock all of my bridesmaids arrived, they brought their dresses in, I sent Brandon to work because of course he can. Like what else are grooms going to be doing on the morning? Just drinking? I'm sorry, no. Put them to a bit of work, because then it also like kind of helped give him something to do so that he wasn't like too nervous, and the hair artist. So I got the hair artist to work on one of the bridesmaids straight away. I started setting out my makeup because I did my own makeup, like I said, so that anyone that came by before like 10:15 when I was going to start doing my makeup, that gave me a good amount of time to like talk to people, make sure that they were doing okay, make sure that they knew where everything was in the house, make sure they knew where they could get changed, make sure people had water, including yourself. So that was kind of the way that I attacked all of that stuff. Once the boys arrived about 10 o'clock as well, their task was setting up the tables. So I talked to them all the day beforehand, showing them that each centerpiece, this book which has got our seating chart in it, so they knew that those were going to be on all of the tables, then they could just set that up. So basically from 10:15 I just started putting on my makeup and getting that routine going, because you'd done everything else, so that meant that that could be the time for you to just focus and like try and calm yourself, because I was literally shaking the whole time. Also because of the pain, also because I should have probably been in hospital from internal bleeding, and also because I didn't sleep. I just spent an hour and a half doing my wedding makeup, and I knew that everyone else had been taken care of, so everyone else had their hair done before me. So we had like this easy little rotation system going from the hair person to the makeup person, or the makeup person to the hair person, and then whoever else was free, they were just able to like chill out or snack or like go fix something that needed to be fixed, go check on, make sure something had been done. The photographer arrived at around about 11:30 and they started the setup and they started taking the getting ready shots, because my makeup was done at that point, so I was getting my hair done so then they could get some shots of that. They took some establishing shots, and by having them arrive at 11:30, you don't need to have the getting ready shots right from before you've got your makeup done. Just get them around about 11:30, then they can get all the groom shots or the groomsmen shots as they get changed. Got all of the shots done in that time because we were going to be having our first look as well. 12 o'clock was when the food arrived and the parents arrived, so then lunch was served for everyone. It was just like a platter, so then everyone could just help themselves to food. Just making sure that people are fed and have access to water, know who is who, that's all you need to really do. 1 o'clock, everyone got changed into their clothes properly. I had to have like my bridesmaids help me put on the dress, so that was around about five or so minutes. And that was all that we did. And then we had the getting ready shots in that. We had all of the pretty shots during that time as well. So all of those photos started around about 1:15. And then we went and did all of our first look photos at 1:30. So then that takes a portion of time. And then we started doing all of the group shots with all of our bridal party, taking all of that stuff. So during that time, the parents could get acquainted with the venue, like making sure that the parents weren't stressed was really important, because we don't want to make them feel burdened into having to do stuff. So at 3:30 was when the guests were meant to be starting to arrive, so we spent about 2 hours getting the photos done beforehand. 3:30 was the point where you just lock yourself away. I literally locked myself away trying to read my vows that were literally written the day before. So from 3:30 until 4 was when we were allowing people to arrive. So then by giving them 30 minutes, then they can go get a drink, or they can just hang out together, look at the venue, see like the seating chart, all the other stuff, drop the cards off, and if you have a gift station, they can do gifts. We had a wishing well, so people kindly put money towards our honeymoon, whenever that will happen, like 2023 at this point. 4 o'clock was our ceremony. We kind of started it at 4:05 because I was trying not to cry and freak out. So when it comes to your ceremony time, the best advice I can really give you is give yourself wiggle room throughout the day, so you just kind of know like the sort of structure that things should be following. But if that doesn't get to happen, then at least you actually know it's okay, I've allowed for this. Like, we allowed half an hour for our ceremony, but we had a very fast ceremony. Like, we're not religious, so there were no readings, there was none of the like prayers and stuff. We literally just did our alternate vows to each other, and Peter, our celebrant, just talked lovely, and then you just signed your documents, and the whole ceremony probably took about 15 minutes. That meant that we could just go straight into our reception. So we spent around about 20 minutes hanging out with people, saying hi and like just thank you and all the other stuff. The candy floss station got started, the drinks bar, everything, canapes were coming out, and so that was around about 4:30, and we planned for 4:30 until 6. So we had our family photos done during this time, which took around about 20 minutes to get the family photos done because we don't have a massive family because people couldn't travel because of Rona. So we did that during that time, and Brandon and I got some more photos done, and then we went and hung out with people a bit more. We just kind of wanted to have a bit more of a fluid approach to the day, and making sure that we had an hour and a half cocktail hour allowed for any photos with people. I wanted guests to get their photos taken during this time, and if you didn't know as well, I'd requested that no one takes any photos during the day. We just wanted to make sure that there weren't all of those like selfie shots and all of that other stuff, because we just wanted people to be present. So we'd got a sign set up just letting everyone know it was a closed wedding effectively, also for security reasons, because obviously I'm on here and I'm also in Vegan Magazine, and I just don't want people knowing where we are when we are actually there. I always post afterwards for safety reasons. 6 o'clock we had dinner, so I made sure as well at about 5:40 photographer and videographer served their food, so then they could, one, get some photos of the food, and two, actually just have some time to eat before like all the food started coming out for the guests. We didn't have any speeches or anything, but we did do our cake cutting just after the starter cutting, because we were having that for dessert, because you don't spend $765 on a cake that no one's gonna eat. It's a piece of art, it's a beautiful cake, but you want to make sure that people eat it as well. So if you were also doing this by cutting it just after the starters, that gives the people in the kitchen time enough to be able to actually cut that up, and so it won't go dry as well, because obviously wedding cake can be made a few days before your actual wedding and you don't want it to get dry. Then the mains all came out. But actually during that time, Brandon and I went off to get some sunset shots whilst everyone else was just eating. I could barely eat anyway. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll see that I was not feeling well at all, so I couldn't really eat. We made sure that the dinner was going to be going from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock, so it's like a 2-hour dinner period, so in case something goes wrong, in case people want to wander around or whatever. 8 o'clock we had our first dance. It did run a little bit late getting to our first dance because we were getting photos done and then still like running around, and trying to get people to the room, to the ballroom, was a challenge. So you have to make sure that your bridesmaids and your groomsmen are on call to be able to get everyone through. I was just calling everyone through. I'm like, come on, it's the first dance and then we can do the sparklers, because we only had the photographers until 9 o'clock at night. So by having them from 11:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, I knew that we had a deadline. I wanted to get some dancing shots in there, and we also had a sparkler exit to get to as well. Sparkler exit, just after that actually, we brought the sparkler exit forward a little bit because luckily the sun had gone down at that point, so we could actually hand out all of these sparklers to people, light them up, and then get some beautiful sparkler shots, which went down really, really well. Our photographer leave at 9 o'clock, and honestly, like, the party pretty much finished before 10, which worked out great for us. So that was the way that we'd tackled all of this. It worked out beautifully. I will have it listed just down below in the description box if you want to know like the order of events. I'd painted this whole thing so then everyone could know what our order of events was going to be. So then they could just kind of gauge it, and it just made it a lot better. And of course our little Disney shout out down here, very, very cute. So this is exactly what we did, and it worked out really well. Like I said, best tips, give yourself wiggle room. You will definitely appreciate having that. I hope that you lovers have found this video useful. Please give it a like as well for me managing to actually paint this Mickey and Minnie, because I think that is so cute. And I hope that you lovers have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you once again for watching, and have a wonderful week. Bye!